What's that, Skip? Shauno's talking about Supercoach again. Let's go. G'day everybody, it's Shauno again, and I'm back with some more Supercoach content. Today we're going to be doing our round 18 trades and captains videos, and yes, we are on the run home on the on the way to the end of the Supercoach season. So not as much to talk about as usual, but I still think there are some important things we should be discussing for the upcoming round. Now, before we get on and do that, don't forget to subscribe. Thank you again for all your support. If you're not already subscribed, please do that for me now. Helps me out so much. Like the video, that's also really helpful. Nothing makes me happier than when I see lots and lots of likes on my videos. And yeah, leave me a comment down below letting me know if you have any trade plans this week and what are you going to be your vice captain and captain options. And one last thing, don't forget, join my Discord where it says post my team here. If you put your team in that section on Thursdays when we do our live video, we'll pop your team up on the screen and we'll have a chat about it. All right, crew, let's get on with it. This is, Supercoach just decided not to work just then. There we go. This is my team, and we'll be doing no trades this week because we have 2 trades. So not very interesting for me, but we want to talk about what's interesting for you guys and girls out there in the community. So let's go and have a look at the players. Now, if we go to, we're on the cash cows, and if we go to less than 3 matches, there's not too much really to talk about. Josh Gota, maybe, but he's got a break even of negative 54. Played the last couple of matches. So I guess if you're desperate for a defender, you could go there. Still no sign of Jackson Artemis from Essendon getting a game. So, besides that, we don't have a lot of choice, really. Sam Marshall, don't know if I'd be going there either. Hasn't played for a few weeks. Yes, I don't really think there's a lot of good choices. If I was going to make a rookie, if I was going to get a rookie this week, it would probably be the Eagles guy. I'd probably go early on Franco. Little gentleman here who got an 85 on debut. Now, he looks really good. And as an Eagles supporter, I can't see him. I'd be very angry if he got dropped out of the team. He looked like almost our best midfielder last week. So, I think this guy has to stay in the team. He's a little bull. He seems to get quite a few possessions, and he got an 85 on debut. So, I think it's a pretty safe pick. And at 99K, I'm thinking that it could be the way to go. I mean, the other one, I don't know if you should be going early on him. I don't know, at this time of year, I don't think it should be really necessary to go early on anyone. One more week, even if you haven't got a full primo team, I think waiting one more week won't hurt you to make sure he does get another game. And same with this guy, Noah Mraz, got 101. Not bad. He's a defender. So, if you did need a defender, maybe he's a little bit better than that other guy that we spoke about. But I still would like to see it one more week. You never know. It comes out, gets 100 one week. And it could be just the fact that the ball was back there in the Hawthorn backline a lot when they were getting flogged by Melbourne. So Hawthorn probably aren't going to get pummeled like that every week. So I would be definitely, keeping an eye on that. And whether he gets named as well. Hawthorn have so many of those like backs that are rotating through there. So there's no guarantee he's going to hold his spot. I think, but if you need a defender, I can understand you going there, but I'd really prefer if you waited 1 week. So let's go and have a look now. Now, we're going to do this a little bit different. Normally we start from defenders, but I think this week we're going to start from forwards because I think there's a few really interesting options. So if we look at the last 3 rounds, last 3 round average. So if you're looking for a forward and you've got the big guns like Sheasel, Jason Francis is really good. I think if you don't have him and you've got the money, I'd be targeting him. Chad Warner back down to Chad Warner style. This is what it's like. He can get you a massive score one week and not so much the next. But if you wanted to go on there, I'd prefer to get him cheaper when he was at 450. I think he's good value. I think he will fluctuate a little bit, but he has shown the potential to be able to get big scores. Now, this is the one I'd be pretty interested in if I was looking for a forward. Bradley Hill, now that Sinclair is out, he's back there in the back line, taking and he's the man. He's got the Sinclair role. I'm not too sure if he's taking kick-ins. Let's have a look. He's back there with Nasai, but he's been doing very good the last 3 weeks, and both the players I really like. Yeah, he's taken a couple. Took 2 last week, and Wang and Malaria took 4. So he took the second most. Was that Brad Hill there? Yep, 2. And Wilkie took 1. So I'd be very interested in Brad Hill. And since I think it's been confirmed from the injury list this week that Sinclair will be out for the rest of the season. So I think it's a pretty safe pick to pick Brad. And I think he can put up, well, we just saw he put up a 159. So, he is capable of getting big scores in that role. I also like Max Hall. I do like Max Hall quite a bit. Maybe not as much as Hill. I think Max Hall is one of these guys. If he has a good game, plays midfield, kicks a couple of goals, he can get a big score like he did last week. But if I had to pick out of the two, I think with the news that Sinclair's going to be out, I'd probably be going Bradley Hill myself. If you don't have Zach Bailey, there's rumours that he will be back this week, so I still think he is a very good pick. And then who else have we got? Crew. Then this is the other one. 3 St Kilda guys I always seem to like. So Rowan Marshall. Now, I'm going to put a big asterisk next to this pick. We've flagged that as a solo ruck, he is absolute gun. And he's probably a top 3 to 4 forward as a solo ruck. TDK they say haven't really given us a timeline, but they have said that TDK will come back this season. If we go down here in the injury list and we go to St Kilda, so TDK ribs and says, while DeConing is expected to need a couple more weeks before being cleared to return. So they do expect him to return in a couple of weeks, though, where Jack Sinclair has been rubbed out for the season. So this is a pick that I would be only doing if you've got lots of trades. Say you've got 7 or 8 trades or more, and you want to do a pick for the next couple of weeks, you want to get up on your opponents, and you're quite prepared to sell him off in a few weeks, I would be jumping on, taking these big scores, because he's got up to 600k before. So not only will he go up in money, what's his break even this week? His break even's 43. So you could potentially make money and get some really big scores there in your forward line. And then when TDK comes back, you can, ship him off for whoever you like and potentially bank some money and make another upgrade. So if you're like me and you've only got 2 or 3 trades left, I wouldn't be getting him in just because I know when TDK comes back, there's a good chance that his score will reduce again, especially if you're like playing for leagues. And right at the time when your Supercoach finals for your leagues come around, you don't want TDK coming back and ruining, getting him, making him get scores like 60s and 70s. But as a short term, I've got trades, I can afford it. Jumping on him, I think, is a very good option. Who else we got? Sam Durham at 450 is also still a really good pick as well. So I don't think I'm going to give you any more options. I think they're the ones that I would be going at. If you were desperately cheap for money, I don't think I would go Fogarty. When he's on fire, he has good games, but he hasn't really shown it this year. So I think they're the ones I'd be hoping to kind of get up to that kind of price. Riley Thrillthorpe, if he's back this week, maybe at 370 if you were really, stuck for cash. So I can understand if you were stuck for cash going for, one of those guys. But I think I'd stay away from the Jeremy Cameron pick too, because he looks like he's only got one wing. He's got a broken wing and he can't really play. Wouldn't be surprised if they give him a rest soon. So, probably stay away from the cheapo in the way of Cameron. I mean, maybe, as we said, maybe you could have a go at Fogarty, it would be a very good pod. But as you can see, he's got 115, 121 in the last couple of weeks. But the rest of the season, he's only cracked 100 one time. Plus, he's been a little bit injured. He's been out in and out through injuries, had a big long stint between round 3 and round 10 out with injury. So, I think he'd be a very up and down. I don't think I would expect these 100 scores every week. I'd probably prefer one of those other guys that I mentioned. If you can afford to pay an extra 70K to get a Zach Bailey or a Max Hall or a Bradley Hill is the one that I really like. He would be my number one pick. He's got that pig roll. If I had to get a forward now, he's the one that I would be getting. So now that I've said that, he's probably going to, in the bed. But we will see. I do really like his role. So all right, so let's go to Rucks. We've already discussed Rowan Marshall. I still think the Rucks speak for themselves. I wouldn't be trusting Tristan Sherry with anything. It's Jackson, Brody, Grundy, and Gawn, with Gawn being the number one. And I think the Darcy situation at Freo is capping Luke Jackson's ceiling. With Darcy in the team, he averages about 117, which is still really good. But with him out of the team, he averages around 135. I did those stats the other day in my review video. If you haven't gone and checked out that review video, go back, check that out. Give me a like because that would make me very happy. But anyway, so I think if I was going a ruck, I would only be going Grundy or Jackson or Gawn. And I got a feeling that Jackson, what's his break even? 167. So I probably wouldn't be going Jackson this week. If you want him, you're probably going to get him around 580K in a week or two's time. And unless they start to drop, unless they drop the old Darcy, and that would be good. If you did have an opportunity where you get Marshall for a few weeks and make some money and then jump up to like a Max Gawn, say you didn't have a Max Gawn, I would be, behind that. Say you've still got the Adelaide guy, McAndrew, and you're looking to trade him out. I think that, and you've got the trades, trades and the money to do it. I think a sneaky him to Marshall. When TDK comes back, you jump to either the Luke Jackson or the Gawn or the Grundy. I think Grundy could have had a really big score this week, but he just didn't use the ball too well, had a very low disposal efficiency. Otherwise, this could have been a much bigger score. So as an owner myself, I'm hoping that he's going to be, better in the future. I'm looking at McAndrew here. You can almost do a straight swap for about 20K from McAndrew to Rowan Marshall. So that's definitely an option if you have the trades. All right, so let's go to midfielders. Now, I'm thinking this time of year, obviously, you want the best of the best, and so if you're getting these guys in your team, you want the Dacoses, you want the Butters. Jordan Dawson, if you haven't got him, you want him. Bailey Smith, definitely at a good price now. Isaac Heaney's dropped down below 600K, so he's at a good price now. These guys that I would love to have in my team, but don't. I still think Zach Merritt's been around this price all year, and he's been delivering. He's the 17th best midfielder, but in the last 3-round, if we go to 5-round average, he should be quite a bit higher than that, I would think. Or maybe not. No, he's actually lower. I think he is a reasonable option. Will Ashcroft has been absolutely killing it and will probably have another good week this week against Essendon. He's getting up to that upper echelon 550 though. Obviously, him, I think there's the kind of fringe. You've got the big dogs like, Bont, Nick Dacos, Zach Butters, those type of guys. And then you've got this 550 tier guys, George Hewitt. Luke Parker has also been kind of killing it, but we'll get into him when you get in the midfield to defenders. So I think I just want one of those big guys. I also like George Hewitt. Did we mention George Hewitt around 550? Doing very well. If you've already got all the other big dogs, could definitely consider him a bit of a point of difference. Noah Anderson has come down a bit, got a bit of a tag last week, so I wouldn't be too worried about this 84, even though Gold Coast are a bit of a rubble at the moment. LDU, probably one of Sheasel or LDU will get a little bit of attention from Ed Allen this week. Maybe more likely LDU, I'm hoping, as Sheasel, you might see, is probably in one of my better captain options. And so I think they're the guys that I'd be really going for. Against Essendon, I guess you could think about a Lockie Neal or even a Josh Dunkley, who's got a 3-round average of 80. If you were needed the cheaper, say you've only got the 450, the 460, maybe Dunkley is the way to go. Will Days come down to below 500k after that thrashing from Melbourne. Yeah, so I mean, maybe Errol Goulden would be a sneaky pod pick, only owned in 4% of teams and got an 83 last week. So maybe he could be someone you could consider. I don't think I'd be considering too many other midfielders, like I say. I think you just want to get in the best of the best. Where is my other guy, the guy that I like? There is still one other that I quite like. I still like Ed Richards. I know he's under 500k now. Probably how owned in 12% of teams, so he's not too much of a pod, but I still think he's going to be a very steady scorer throughout the rest of the season. All right, so what about if we need a defender? So with Lockie Whitfield out, I don't think I would be trading Lockie Whitfield out. It's a concussion at the moment. They're saying only 1 week. We haven't heard that it's going to be anything more than that. So I'd just be chucking him on the bench and hopefully he got some cover like a Hall Kahan or somebody to bring on, even if it's a Wade Dirksen or something. It's just 1 week. Save that trade. And hopefully he'll be back next week. Now, if you haven't got the sire, even I might prototype. Can't even say the word, but if you need even a midfielder or a defender, getting Wanganeen Malera into your team, I think is a priority. It's one of the big fades that I can't afford to get him in, and I don't have the trades to get him in, and it's going to punish me for the rest of the season. He is just on fire, and again, he's playing. He's in the back row there. He's taking kickouts. He's in the midfield. He's everywhere. He's kicking goals. He's just an absolute force to be reckoned with, and clubs still aren't tagging him. So, you know, I don't understand why every club doesn't put some tags into him, but he is actually when he doesn't get tagged, he tears the game apart. So I think he should be almost one of the number one picks, and I'd be prioritizing him. Almost got the word out. Over some of those other big boy midfielders like the Bont or whatever. I'd be getting him in my team first. Now Luke Parker delivered another big score. I think wish I had gone him instead of Will Day a few weeks ago at 530. I think if you're interested, just jump on. He's looks like he's back in form. He's got that role. He's had the role all season. He did go through a little bit of a down patch, but the last couple of so he's gone since round 11, round 13, 106, then he got a 79, 130, 122, and 142. So I think he's a pretty safe pick, and at 530, 534, pretty good value. Max Holmes, if you don't have him, just get him in. He's probably your number 2 defender, I would say, behind Wanganeen Malera. Bodie Hewland has been killing it the last few weeks. I definitely would be interested in him at 4.2% owned. I think he's a great pod pick. He's been good, quietly good all season, but he's hasn't gone below 100 in his last 4 games, and they've all been 110 pluses. So plus throughout the season, he's got 1, 2, 3, 4 games 120 plus. So kind of really liking that role, that distributor role back there. Callum Mills, reasonable pick. I really like Bailey Dale at 530. I think he is a very good pick. I got a lot of games at Marvel coming up, playing West Coast this week. So I got 151 last week. So I think that is a good pick. And I still think Lockie Ash is a good pick. I don't think we need to talk about too many others. If you needed a cheapo option, like a 4th round 450, I still think Callum Wilkie is a very good value. I don't know. I Haven't seen any others around 450 that I really like. Darcy Byrne-Jones has been quietly good over the last month or so. If you needed a forward defender, a bit of a swing action, if you say you've got some rookie, not that I can think of any, but if you just happen to have a rookie that has forward defensive DPP, having Darcy Byrne-Jones for the rest of the season could just really help you out with a bit of flexibility for your team. But I think there are better picks. I don't think I would be doing anybody else crew. I think if Archie Roberts comes back, I'd probably want to have a look at him 1 week to see. He already, before he went out injured, his scores hadn't been, the peaks at what they were at the beginning of the season. But Zach Merritt was playing back there a little bit more. So I'd like to see what happens at Essendon. He is rumored to come back this week, but I would leave it for 1 week and have a look at him. He's got a break even at 138, so the chances are you might even be able to pick him up for less than 500k. So that is it for the trade-ins and trade-outs. Let me know in the comments if there's somebody else that I've missed that you're thinking about. And be very interested. Let me know how many trades you've got too, if you got many trades to go. But I think the forward line is pretty much the interesting one this week. A lot of people left their forward lines to last to fill up their entire team. So, and Bradley Hill, I have to admit, I love this pick. So it's probably going to turn into be a disaster. But if I was getting, if I wanted someone about 450, that's who I'd be getting this week. Now, for our captains and vice captain options. So let's make it easy for me so I can see the games. There we go. So first game, Freo versus Sydney. I don't think I'll be picking anyone in this game. Should be a tight game. The Freo midfield versus the Sydney midfield might even each other out. So maybe you could try Isaac Heaney, but I think it could be a tough game. So I don't think I'll be going down. I don't think I'll be going either of the ruckmen with Luke Jackson up against Grundy a lot of time. They're going to be a tough matchup for both of them. Plus with Jackson having Darcy in the team, I think it caps his ceiling, as we spoke about earlier. So I don't think I'll be picking anyone. Collingwood versus North. Now, I think you can go both vice captain here. You can try vice captain on Dacos, but I'd be worried about the Finn O'Sullivan tag. So I'm going to say I would be avoiding Dacos this week. But Sheasel, that's who I'm picking. I think, yes, Ed Allen might go to him, but he also might go to LDU. And I'm thinking it's maybe more likely he goes to LDU. So I can't say that for sure. Sheasel has been on fire the last few weeks, and they might try to stop him. But I think this is the first chance we've had in ages to put a VC on Sheasel, as normally he's been playing later on the rounds, and we've had to use him as a fallback as captain, and either we haven't got to him, or if we have, he's really delivered. So I think he deserves to get the vice captain. And he is going to be my best option for vice captain this week, as for most people are going to own him. St Kilda versus Port. Maybe if you could go vice captain Sheasel into Wanganeen Malera as your captain, or I guess if you wanted to try vice captain Wanganeen Malera, you could do that as well if you were sure, or if you were worried about the Ed Allen going to Sheasel. Then maybe you could try that. Don't think Butters could be an option as well. How does Butters do against the Saints? Let's have a look. 140, 182 over his last three matches. Got 140 when they played earlier on this season. So I guess he is also an option. Next game, GWS versus Geelong. I guess you could always have a go at Bailey Smith as your captain option. I don't think there's any GWS players that I would be picking. Holmes hasn't shown the ceiling over the last few weeks, so I think Bailey Smith is the only option that I'd be considering in that game. Next game, Carlton and Hawks. I wouldn't be considering anybody in this game. There's nobody that takes my fancy or interest. Adelaide versus Gold Coast Sun. Jordan Dawson is always an option. Gold Coast have not been great lately, so Jordan Dawson is definitely a captain option there. I think that's in Saturday, so you're probably thinking about captains, not vice captains anymore. So I think Jordan Dawson is a decent pick. Western Bulldogs versus as West Coast. I think you can go Bont if you like. He hasn't been in a great amount of form. So I think I like history and form. So I mean, Bont did get a tag last week. He could go mental, but I wouldn't be, as surprised to see if, they rest him up forward a little bit more if they start to really hurt the Eagles and give them a bit of a thrashing, which I kind of expect is going to happen. So he would be the only one that I would be thinking would be a reasonable pick. But again, I'd probably prefer other options. Now, this is the one I really like. This is my number one captain. Cheezel is my number one vice captain option. Max Gawn. If you own Max Gawn, he went bananas last week, got a 165, solo rocking against a good team in the way of Hawthorn, and he destroyed them, destroyed Lloyd Meek. This week, he's got Richmond, not a good team, and he's got Nank, who isn't, the best ruck in the world at the moment either. I'm pretty sure Gawn will destroy Richmond. The only worry is if he gets a little bit of a rest or if they bring in Max Heath, then I would certainly maybe reconsider. But as for a solo ruck, I'm thinking that he is going to absolutely crush again. So that's my number one pick. So, and then you got Brisbane versus Essendon. If you got any of the Brisbane guys, you can go there. I mean, maybe you could try Sneaky Lockie Neal or Josh Dunkley, but I think there are better options. So I'm saying that the best option by far for vice captain is probably Sheezel or Wanganeen Malira, and my best options for captains are definitely I'm going to say Gawn, I'm going to say Dawson. Uh, let's just pick. We'll just go those four. We'll go Gawn and Dawson. Maybe throw in a Bont, but I think we're just going to say Gawn and Dawson are going to be my two best captain picks, my fallback picks. All right, crew, that's going to be the video for today. I'm not too sure how long we're going to keep on doing these trades and captain videos, as a lot of us are getting low on trades. You can tell me down in the comments, would you prefer me to do one combined video of my review and trades and captains, or keep breaking it up like we're doing now and do two separate videos? So if you did like the video, please like the video. If you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe. Once again, I really appreciate everybody out there and all the support I'm getting. Don't forget, my live video will be this Thursday, and this Thursday it will be in the morning / lunchtime on Thursday. So make sure you come along and check that out and join the Discord. And so you can pop your team in where it says post my team here, and we'll pop your team up at the team. Pop your team up on the team. Let's say put your team up on the screen, and we will have a chat about it and talk everything Supercoach. Always my favorite videos of the week. So I look forward to seeing everybody there. And until then, I hope everyone has a good week, and I will speak to you soon.